Welcome back, history lovers, to our ongoing series on the incredible story of the Ottoman Empire. If you've been following along, you know we've traced their rise from a small Anatolian beylik to a formidable power. But today, we're diving into the moments that truly forged their legend and reshaped the world map. So, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get started. Picture this. It's the mid-15th century. At the crossroads of Europe and Asia stands a city, a legend in its own right, Constantinople. For over 1,000 years, it was the heart of the Byzantine Empire, a Christian bastion protected by some of the most formidable walls ever constructed. To many in Europe, Constantinople was simply impregnable. It had withstood countless sieges, a symbol of enduring power. But a new, ambitious sultan had his eyes set on this prize. His name was Mehmed II, and he was about to earn his title, the Conqueror. In 1453, at the astonishingly young age of 21, Mehmed II laid siege to the great city. This wasn't just another brute force attack. Mehmed was a brilliant strategist, a true student of military innovation. He knew the old ways wouldn't work against Constantinople's legendary Theodosian walls. So, what did he do? He brought the future of warfare to their doorstep. He commissioned the construction of enormous cannons, behemoths of bronze that could hurl massive stone balls with terrifying force. One cannon, famously known as the Great Turkish Bombard, was so large it required hundreds of men and dozens of oxen just to move it into position. Imagine the psychological impact on the defenders. For weeks, these superguns pounded the ancient walls, day and night, shaking the very foundations of the city. But Mehmed's ingenuity didn't stop there. The city's harbor, the Golden Horn, was protected by a massive chain that blocked enemy ships. In a move of sheer audacity, Mehmed ordered his ships to be dragged overland on greased logs around the chain and into the harbor. This outflanked the defenders, forcing them to spread their already thin forces even further. It was a logistical masterpiece that left the Byzantines stunned. After a grueling 53-day siege, on May 29, 1453, the Ottoman forces launched their final, all-out assault. The giant cannons had finally created a breach in the walls. The elite Janissary troops poured into the city, and despite a heroic last stand, the defenders were overwhelmed. The fall of Constantinople was a cataclysmic event. It marked the definitive end of the 1,000-year-old Byzantine Empire and sent shockwaves across the Christian world. For the Ottomans, it was the ultimate triumph. Mehmed the Conqueror rode into the city not as a destroyer, but as a builder. He immediately declared it the new capital of his empire, renaming it Istanbul. Mehmed didn't just conquer a city, he transformed it. He began a massive program of reconstruction and repopulation, turning Istanbul into a vibrant cosmopolitan hub. He encouraged people from all over the empire, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, to settle there, guaranteeing their safety and religious freedom. He converted the Grand Cathedral, the Hagia Sophia, into a mosque, a powerful symbol of the new order, but he also supported the construction of new markets, mosques, and public baths. Istanbul quickly became the administrative, cultural, and economic heart of the Ottoman world, a true bridge between East and West. This conquest wasn't just a territorial gain. It gave the Ottomans control over the vital trade routes that had made Constantinople so wealthy, paving the way for centuries of imperial expansion and dominance. Fast forward about 70 years. The foundations laid by Mehmed the Conqueror are about to support the empire's most glorious chapter. In 1520, a new sultan ascends the throne, a man whose name would become synonymous with the peak of Ottoman power and splendor, Suleiman I, known in the West as the Magnificent, and in the East as the Lawgiver. His 46-year reign is widely considered the golden age of the Ottoman Empire. Suleiman was the complete package, a masterful military commander, a patron of the arts, and a profound legal reformer. He inherited a powerful empire, and he would take it to heights previously unimaginable. On the battlefield, Suleiman was relentless. He personally led his armies on 13 major campaigns. His conquests expanded the empire's borders deep into Europe, capturing Belgrade and Rhodes, and crushing the Hungarian army at the Battle of Mohacs in 1526. This victory opened the way to the heart of Europe, and in 1529, Ottoman forces were at the gates of Vienna itself. Though the siege of Vienna was ultimately unsuccessful, the very fact that Ottoman armies were camped outside one of Europe's major capitals sent a clear message. The Ottomans were a global superpower that could challenge anyone. His empire stretched from Hungary to Persia, and from the shores of North Africa to the Arabian Peninsula. But Suleiman's legacy wasn't just built on conquest. He was also known as Kanuni, the lawgiver. He understood that ruling a vast, diverse empire required more than just military might. It required a just and efficient administration. He commissioned a complete overhaul of the Ottoman legal system. This new code, known as the Kanun, worked alongside Islamic Sharia law to create a comprehensive legal framework that covered everything from criminal law and taxation to land tenure. This brought consistency and fairness to the administration of his sprawling territories, helping to unify the empire and ensure its stability for generations. While the army pushed the empire's land borders, the Ottoman navy, under the legendary Admiral Barbarossa Hayreddin Pasha, turned the Mediterranean into what many called an Ottoman lake. Barbarossa and his fleets dominated the seas, raiding coastlines, controlling vital trade routes, and repeatedly defeating the naval forces of European powers like Spain and Venice. This maritime supremacy was crucial, securing the empire's economic prosperity and projecting its power across the known world. Suleiman's court in Istanbul was a dazzling center for culture. Architects like the great Mimar Sinan built magnificent mosques and palaces that still define Istanbul's skyline today. Arts, literature, and science flourished under his patronage. However, even at its zenith, the empire faced immense challenges. Governing such a vast territory with so many different peoples was a constant struggle. The long and costly wars, while successful, put a huge strain on the treasury. And although the Ottoman navy was dominant for much of Suleiman's reign, the tide began to turn. Just a few years after his death, the Ottoman fleet suffered a crushing defeat at the Battle of Lepanto in 1571. While the Ottomans quickly rebuilt their navy, Lepanto was a significant psychological blow and a sign that European powers were beginning to catch up in military technology. The Golden Age under Suleiman was truly magnificent, but it also contained the seeds of the long, slow decline that would eventually follow. And that's where we'll pause for today. From the epic conquest that ended one empire and birthed another, to the golden age of a sultan who ruled a world power, the 15th and 16th centuries were truly transformative for the Ottomans. Thanks so much for joining me on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part of our series. We love reading your thoughts, so leave a comment below. Until next time, stay curious.